I think you should pay everybody. Is it the reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's for. You just got it.
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the People's Mayor and People's Supervisor.
You won't believe the drama that's been unfolding in the small village of Dalton, Illinois. It's the kind of scandal that you can't make up, and it all revolves around none other than the town's mayor, Tiffany Henyard. Once seen as a trailblazer making history as Dalton's first female mayor, she's now at the center of a political firestorm. Allegations of corruption, financial mismanagement, and outright abuse of power have thrown her career into turmoil. And if that wasn't enough, her boyfriend just testified against her in court. The twists and turns of this story have everyone asking, is this the beginning of the end for Tiffany Henyard?
Private investigator, I've got some books that says Super Mayor. Inside I have from the United States District Court, Roland District.
Now imagine being in her shoes. You're in the spotlight, you've made a name for yourself, and suddenly it all starts to crumble. The accusation, pretty serious. We're talking about illegal appointments to keep positions within the village, appointments that were later blocked by a judge. Mind you, Henyard had reportedly tried to bring in her own village attorney, police chief, and village administrator without getting the required approval from the Board of Trustees. And when the judge said no, it didn't exactly slow her down. In fact, it seems like she doubled down, surrounding herself with people who probably shouldn't have been in those roles to begin with. It's almost like she's daring the legal system to catch up to her. Of court, the judge today declining to hold her in contempt, but did warn her that if she did not follow the ruling, he would. So here's where things get even crazier. Har's boyfriend, someone who many didn't expect to play such a pivotal role in all of this, decided to spill the tea in court. And what he had to say, well, let's just say it's not doing Henyard any favors. According to his testimony, she's been diverting municipal funds. Yes, the taxpayers' money for personal use, lavish vacations, extravagant purchases, you name it. If what he's saying is true, it paints a picture of a mayor who's been living large at the expense of her common. And let's not forget the accusations of bribery. Word is Henyard has been making deals with local businesses, accepting payments in exchange for favorable treatment. That's right, she's being accused of using her power to line her pockets. Who would make a one-day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon? And the main thing is, what is it? As the details of these alleged deals emerge, it's becoming clear that Henyard connections extend beyond Dalton's borders. Sources close to the investigation hint at a network of associates who may have helped to facilitate these arrangements, potentially involving attractors and developers from nearby towns. The scope of her influence appears to have reached further than anyone imagined, adding yet another layer to an already complex case. So with every new revelation, the web of accusations grows, painting a picture of a mayor whose ambitions may have pushed her far beyond the boundaries of the law. One way that the government always does it is to go and investigate people around her. And that's what they're doing here now. You might be wondering how all of this play out in court. Well, it wasn't exactly a quiet day in the courtroom. According to witnesses, as soon as Henyard boyfriend started revealing all these dirty details, the atmosphere went from tense to downright explosive. Henyard, who was reportedly caught off guard by his testimony, couldn't keep her cool. She had a full-blown outburst, shouting at him and interrupting the proceedings. It was the kind of meltdown that made everyone in the room stop and take notice. Her emotional reaction only added fuel to the fire, making it look like she was losing control, not just of her temper, but of the entire situation at his employment. I don't believe that is legally correct. That's just not the way municipalities operate. Right, of course, the public wasn't going to sit quietly and watch all of this unfold. Dalton residents were already fed up with the chaos surrounding Henyard administration, and this latest scandal has only intensified the outrage. Social media lit up with comments from people demanding her resignation, accusing her of betraying the trust of the community. So one committer didn't hold back, saying she is as crooked as they come. Her crimes are obvious and traceable. She needs to go to jail. It's clear that the patience of the residents is running thin, and they want answers. After all, this is a mayor who was supposed to be working for them, not using their hard-earned money for personal luxuries. So that's one of the reasons I vote no. When we go through our board packets, it's like you know some of this stuff, it's like you don't know exactly what it's for, and then when you ask a question, there's no answer. But wait, it gets even more dramatic. You think that after all of this, Henyard would be lying low, maybe trying to salvage what's left of her reputation. Nope, instead, she showed up late to a village board meeting that was being held at the local park district building because the village hall couldn't accommodate the crowd. And what did she do when she got there? She tried to take control of the meeting. That's right, she walked in like nothing was wrong and tried to make a speech, but the residents weren't having it. They booed her right out of the room. According to reports, she dramatically proclaimed, "I am the mayor mayor of the village of Dalton, but the jeers and shouting just drowned her out. It was a surreal scene, almost like something out of a movie. And just like that, she left the meeting, but not before calling the Board of Trustees corrupt and accusing them of orchestrating a smear campaign against her. Sometimes we get invoices, but those invoices lead to more questions. And sometimes we don't get answers to those questions. And so it's not about clickbait, it's about just making sure the right thing. Bard has been trying to spin the narrative, claiming that all of these accusations are politically motivated. She's saying that her enemies, specifically the trustees, are out to get her. In fact, she's gone as far in a lawsuit accusing the law trustees of illegally holding meetings and violating the state's transparency laws. According to her, this whole ordeal is just an elaborate attempt to undermine her authority and sabotage our re-election campaign. She even took to social media, posting a cryptic message on Facebook that said, "I need all my black sheep to stand with me. You are not alone. If God is for us, then who can be against us?" It seems like she's trying to rally her supporters, but with the kind of heat she's facing right now, it's hard to say how many people are still standing in her corner. For a year now, we've been reporting unquestionable spending by a South suburban politician named Tiffany Henyard, but we only knew half the story. And then there's the federal investigation. Yeah, that's right, this whole mess has attracted the attention of federal authorities. Tonas have been served, and there's talk of a probe into Henyard's handling of public funds. Reports are swirling that her inner circle is starting to crack under the pressure, with some of her closest allies being dragged into the investigation. Even her boyfriend, the one who testified against her, is caught up in it. Rumors are flying that he's in custody and spilling even more details about Henyard's alleged corruption. It's the kind of drama that keeps escalating with no end in sight, but the administration can adhere to some financial limits. We're not looking to necessarily. One of the most shocking revelations came from a report by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. The report exposed the financial disarray that Dalton has found itself in under Hen's leadership. According to the report, the village's finances are in shambles, largely due to reckless spending and a lack of oversight. It's like the entire government structure is crumbling under her watch, and now, with all these allegations piling up, the village's future is looking more uncertain than ever. Residents are rightfully concerned. If these claims are true, what does that mean for the town's economic stability? How far-reaching is the damage? Last month, the judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from trust. Some of the most vocal critics of Henyard have come from within the village's government itself. The trustees have been clashing with her for months, accusing her of undermining their authority and acting unilaterally. In fact, it was the trustees who first went to court to block Henyard appointments, arguing that she didn't have the authority to make those decisions on her own. And now, with all this chaos unfolding, they're doubling down on their calls for accountability. One trustee said, "We've had enough of these antics. It's time for real leadership." Henyard doesn't seem to be backing down. She's fighting every step of the way, even as the walls close in around her. You know, wrong is wrong, and there's a time to hold people responsible and accountable for their action. Despite everything, Henyard still has a few loyal supporters who believe she's being unfairly targeted. Some of them argue that this is all part of a larger conspiracy to oust her from office because she's shaking up the status quo. They claim that the trustees and other political figures in the area are threatened by her leadership style and are doing everything they can to take her down. But even her most loyal supporters are struggling to justify the testimony from her boyfriend. His decision to turn on her in court was a game changer, and it's hard to see how she can recover from that kind of betrayal. One viewer even commented, "Why hasn't she run with the money and left everyone behind?" Stupid, even when caught. Harsh, but it's a sentiment that's becoming more common as the scandal drags on. Mayor Henyard is in a situation where she feels like she's under attack. So what's next for Tiffany Henyard? The legal battles are far from over, and the court case is only getting started. More testimony is expected in the coming weeks, and there's speculation that even more damaging evidence could emerge. So if Henyard is found guilty of the corruption charges, it could be the end of her political career. And even if she manages to avoid jail time, the damage to her reputation might be too much to come back from. The residents of Dalton are fed up. The trustees are pushing for her to step up, down, and the federal investigation looms large over everything. It's a ticking time bomb, and everyone is waiting to see how it will all play out. Will Tiffany Henyard be able to clear her name, or is this the final chapter in her time as Dalton's mayor? And more importantly, what does this mean for the future of Dalton itself? The village is already facing financial difficulties, And with its leadership and chaos, things could get even worse. Whatever happens, one thing is for sure, this is one political scandal that won't be forgotten anytime soon. So what do you think? Should Tiffany Henyard step down, or do you believe there's more to the story? Could this really be a case of political rivals trying to bring her down, or is she guilty of the accusations being thrown at her? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time, and thanks for watching my video.